Hi everyone. Today is our last listening and learning video. It is called Protecting the Environment. Okay. We have talked about the changes in the environment that take place, and remember we said that those that are gradual are better for the environment than those that are rapid. It's not as hard on an ecosystem. Remember, an ecosystem includes the habitats and things like that for the animals and plants. Some things that we have done to affect the ecosystem: we have deforestation, where we have cut down forests and trees for crops and homes. We have used farming practices that included pesticides and fertilizers. We have introduced invasive species. Remember, they come in and they take over areas. Non-native invasive species and end up in habitats that are not their own. They can come on trains and planes and boats and things like that. We've talked about different types of pollution: water pollution, air pollution, light pollution, soil pollution. Today I want you to listen to hear what you can do to help keep the environment healthy. Typically, guys, we would have done a project in which you would have shown pictures and ways that you and your family would have made a difference. So I really want you to be thinking about that. And we have Zeke here, and he's pointing to his head. And he says, today I really need you to put on your thinking caps. You are very important to the future of planet Earth. Earth is your home. Conservation of Earth and its natural resources is very important. The everyday choices you make and how you live your life can affect the health of our planet. You've seen how humans can treat unhealthy environments, how humans can create unhealthy environments and cause disruptions to the balance of nature. We are dependent upon water and air to live, but we've done things to pollute both of these essential natural resources. We have many people on Earth, and we've tapped into natural resources to try to support all this life. Now, what is a natural resource? A resource is something that helps or supports you. If it is natural, it is something produced by nature. Natural resources are found in the environment. These include water, air, trees, fowl or birds, and fish. They also include things that are hidden beneath the ground, like minerals and oil, things that provide materials and energy for a lot of people. Air and water are renewable resources, meaning they recycle themselves so they're never used up. But many natural resources are non-renewable. They won't last forever. For example, it takes a long time for rich soil to form. The same is true of our fossil fuels like coal, gas, and oil. They take many, many years to form. So you can see that if we use up these natural resources, there won't be anything left for the rest of the people who follow us on Earth. It's important to remember that we are stewards or caretakers of Earth. We must take care of Earth and its finite or limited resources for our children and their children, and so on. Protecting the environment means efficiently using resources and doing our best not to waste them. How can you do that? Well, let's first think about the renewable resources like water and air. Both water and air are renewable and have cycled through Earth's atmosphere again and again for many, many years. But pollution makes these renewable resources more difficult to use. How can we keep our air and water clean and free of pollutants? One way is to make sure you work hard not to pollute them. Let's start with water. You know that Earth is covered mostly by water, so it's hard to imagine ever running out of it. But most of that water is salty, so we can't drink it, nor can our crops. However, humans have found ways of tapping into aquifers. Aquifers are natural underground areas containing fresh water. These aquifers help to satisfy the needs of the Earth's growing number of people. Even with aquifers, however, it's possible that we could run out of usable water. So what can you do to conserve water? Here's a few easy things you can do to help. Take shorter showers. Turn the faucet off when you're brushing your teeth. Make sure you have a full load of laundry when you wash clothes. Place a brick in your toilet tank so it uses less water to flush. Recycle water by collecting rainwater in a garden barrel. Litter is another pollutant. It comes from trash. Have you ever seen cans, bottles, and leftover food wrappers thrown along the side of the road or floating in the water? Did you know that until about 100 years ago, there was almost no concept of trash in the United States? Everything people used or purchased for their homes, farms, or businesses were reused, remade, or traded. Even containers that were packed with goods and shipped would be made into toys or furniture, or parts would be used to repair broken things. Trash is an example of a rapid change caused by humans that has disrupted the balance of nature. Litter is not only unattractive, it can be dangerous. For example, to sea turtles and other animals, plastic bags bobbing on the surface of the water look a lot like jellyfish that they'd want to eat. Once eaten, though, those plastic bags cannot be digested and the animals often die. Cigarette butts thrown on the ground can leach dangerous chemicals into the soil. So what can you do to prevent litter? The easiest step is not to litter. You can also organize a litter brigade, collecting litter along streets and waterways of your community. You've learned how chemicals pollute our rivers and streams. Sometimes people pour grease down the drain. Other times people flush medicines, or pesticides down their toilets. Both of these things can pollute our drinking water. Where does your family dispose of old paints, car oil, weed killers, and leftover cleaning products? Your city might provide you with important information about where you can get rid of these products in a safe way. Find out and encourage your parents to find a safer way to dispose of these dangerous wastes. None of these substances should end up in our water. You can also use cleaners and products that are not harmful to the environment. Have you ever experienced a power outage? When the power goes out, your lights and everything else that runs on electricity cannot work. Power outages can be caused when too many people use energy at the same time. They are an inconvenience, but you know the power will soon come on and you'll be able to watch television or use your computer once again. But what if the power went out for good? What can you do to help prevent that? How can you conserve or save energy? Be sure to turn off lights and appliances when you aren't using them. Close windows and doors when the heat or air conditioner is running. In the winter, turn the heat down and add an extra layer of clothing to stay warm. In the summer, minimize the use of air conditioning by using fans. Carpool or ride on public transportation like buses and trains to cut down on using extra fuel in your cars. Scientists are working hard to develop new ways of supplying energy to our households, schools, and businesses. In the future, they hope to rely less on fossil fuels like coal, gas, and oil by gathering energy from sun and wind. Have you ever passed by a row of windmills or seen solar panels on rooftops? Or now we have them in farms? There's already many places on Earth that rely on wind and solar energy. These are two forms of sustainable energy that hold great hope for the future. There are so many things you can do to help the earth right in your own home. I'm sure you've heard and seen the words reduce, reuse, and recycle. To reduce means to make something smaller. So if you reduce the amount of trash you throw away less. What can you do to some of the trash that you're used to throwing into the garbage? You can reuse it or recycle it. For example, if you get a birthday present wrapped in beautiful paper, you can remove it carefully from the package and use it over again to wrap another package. Instead of using paper napkins at meals, use cloth napkins. Wash them and use them over and over again. When you draw on one side of a piece of paper, turn it over and use the other side for another drawing. When you use fewer paper products, fewer trees need to be cut down. Instead of using plastic bags at the grocery store, take your own cloth bags and reuse them every time you shop. When you use less plastic, you use fewer non-renewable resources. And while you're shopping, look at labels on paper products, laundry detergents, and dish soaps. Choose products that are green, eco-friendly, and non-toxic, products that are safe for our environment. Many local garbage collectors give you bins for recycling things such as paper, plastic bottles, glass jars, and plastic containers. If you use these bins, those items will not fill up large landfills with trash, but instead will be made into other useful items. Many cities and towns also have recycling centers where you can take recyclable goods. Did you know that metal containers, like empty cans from canned vegetables, are melted down to make bikes and scooters? Or that old school papers can be shredded and made into new books? Or that plastic is sometimes turned into sofas and chairs, rugs, even clothes? So be sure to reduce, reuse, and recycle as much as you can. If you have a yard, you can conserve resources and protect the environment there too. Instead of using chemicals on your plants and lawn, find natural ways of controlling pests and weeds. What else can you do? Instead of throwing away food waste like orange rinds and potato peels into the garbage, start a compost pile. Compost is decayed matter, so you can serve as your own decomposer. Combine grass clippings, leaves, food waste, and over time, they decompose and turn into rich soil for your garden. Worms are helpful decomposers in the composting process. Learn more about how to compost and spread the word to others. It's a fun, natural way to nourish the soil in your own yard and get rid of food waste and other materials without crowding the landfills. Protecting the environment is key to preventing irreversible damage to the planet. For many years, people have warned others about our destructive ways, but sometimes people choose not to listen. Harmful practices still take place, damaging ecosystems and threatening the balance of nature. It's up to you and me to make necessary changes if we want to save the finite resources of our endangered planet. One resource that humans potentially have more than any other animal is infinite wisdom to learn from our mistakes and change our bad habits. You can make a difference. Remember that your decisions every day have an impact on the ecosystem in which you live.